welcome to my channel. I'm Stephanie, and this is the 2017 Bookish Academy Awards. As you guys know, I did the Bookish Academy Awards last year for 2016. I got this sort of idea from Reagan over at Perusal Projects, and I will link my last year's 2016 awards down in the description box. Reagan took the categories from the actual Academy Awards and sort of built it into a bookish sort of feel. And I liked that premise, so I'm doing it this year, and I hope to continue to do it in the future. But these are my Bookish Academy Awards. Let's get to the categories. So my best documentary for this year, which is either a historical fiction book or a nonfiction book, is going to go to Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick. And I loved this book because I loved Anna Kendrick before. I listened to it on audiobook, and I really enjoyed her comedic timing. I thought she was a good comedian before, but this definitely, put it over the top. I think that it was very personable, and it may not have had depth, which I've seen in some of the reviews, but for me, it showed a little slice of her. Maybe she's acting, maybe she's just that good of an actress that you feel like you're personally getting to know her a little bit more, but I really enjoyed it. Best cinematography, which in turn means the best plot twist for 2017, and I'm going to give that to Excess by Kate Stewart. And if I told you what the plot twist was, I would spoil it for you, but just know that it really blew my mind. Best costume design. So this is the best book cover that I have for the year. This was a hard one for me. There were a lot of books that would go into the running for this, but I went with Amnesia #1 of the Duet by Cambria Hebert. When I initially saw this cover, I had to read it. When I met Cambria, I hadn't read any of her books, and then I started following her on Facebook, and then I saw this cover that she had picked for Amnesia, and I was like, hey Cambria, can I read this book, because this cover is stunning. Next category is Best Visual Effects. In turn, which means the best action in a book. This year, I didn't really read a whole lot of action books, but the action in Dollface #1 by Sadie Gruber really had me on my toes. This story is dark and twisted, and it's crazy, and there is a lot of action. Best musical score. This means the best music in a book to movie adaptation, and I really didn't watch any movies that came from books this year, so I went with Drive by Kate Stewart. She did a phenomenal job of mixing music with the writing in her book and the memories that this character had. I absolutely loved it. So many times while I was reading this book, I went to my phone, went to the Spotify list to listen to the song, or went to YouTube to find the video for the song so that I could be placed in that moment of that character while she was listening to that song or listening to those lyrics and reading her memories. It was amazing. Next is a best short film, which means the best novella or short book. So I couldn't decide which short story that I loved the most, so I went with the Team Player anthology. It was written by Jay Sheehan, Kate Stewart, Kennedy Ryan, Emma Scott, Adriana Locke, Carly Rose, Ella Fox, Mandy Beck, Megan Quinn, Rachel Page, and Sarah Nye. All of these are short stories, and I really enjoyed all of them. I couldn't pick just one of those stories. So that entire anthology is getting it because they're all short stories, and you can pick and choose which ones you like more. Next is Best Original Screenplay, which is the most unique plot or world. And I had to go with The Wild by Kay Webster. This book is taboo, and it's dark, it's twisted, and it set the Facebook world on fire with its controversy and with spoilers and with all sorts of craziness. You have two different sides to what you liked. Some people hated it, some people loved it. I happen to love it. It's very unique and different, and it tests the limits of your brain and your mind, but it's imaginative and inventive, and yeah, it's unique. It's very, very unique, especially since the author gives you a warning right at the beginning. So next is Best Adapted Screenplay, which is the best book to movie adaptation, and I had to go with a TV show for this, and that is Big Little Lies by Lane Moriarty. I actually didn't like the book all that much. I think I only gave it like 3 stars, but I loved the TV miniseries on HBO. Loved it. Adored it. Was just completely drawn in by it. Couldn't wait to see each episode every single. Next is Animated Feature, which is a book that would work well in animated form or format. This was a hard one for me. I read a lot of romances that didn't necessarily translate to maybe that animation format, but I went with The Gift and the Curse by Margaret McKaiser because I think that the storyline could definitely have that feel of, say, Archer, or that adult, mature comic that goes along with it. Not like a kid animation, but an adult sort of series because of the action that it has in it, but also with the paranormal and fantasy aspects of it. Now we're getting to the good ones. So we have Best Supporting Actor, which is the best male sidekick. For this, I went with Kyle from Finding Mr. Wrong by Ann Madden and Joanne Schwim. Kyle ends up getting his own book, but during Finding Mr. Wrong, I loved him in it, and I couldn't wait to get to his book, and yeah, I loved it. He was a great sidekick. He was funny. He was comic relief, and I really, really enjoyed it. For Best Supporting Actress, which is the female sidekick in a book, I went with Andy from Text to Lovers by Kay Webster and J.D. Holyfeld, who Andy also gets her own book in Hate to Lovers, but she definitely gave that comic relief and no nonsense kind of talk in Text to Lovers, and I really, really enjoyed her. Loved her in it. And now the best actor, who is the best male protagonist in a book. And this was a hard one for me, but I went with Porter from The Darkest Sunrise and The Brightest Sunset by Ali Martinez. Porter was a very strong parent, and I think that is why I chose him as my strongest male character for the year, because he really was a strong male parent, and I just loved his strength overall in the books. Yes, that duet was amazing, by the way. For the best female actress, which is the best female protagonist, I went with Taylor from the Predator and Prey duet by Kate Stewart, which is Camouflage and Crosshairs. And Taylor was a badass. I loved her in excess, and when she got her own duet, I was like, yes, I need to. And then I read her, and she was amazing. She's kick-ass, she likes muscle cars, she's badass with weapons, and she's just overall a badass, and I loved her. And she is going to be probably my most memorable character for 2017 as well. Since you have to do actor and actress, she's my female. On to the big two, and the first one is Best Director, which is a writer that I discovered for the first time in 2017. Oh, there were so many authors that I discovered in 2017, but this author blew my mind, and that is Letty Harper. Letty Harper, I read 4 of her books for this year, and that was Silenced, I Do, The Roommate Disagreement, and Third Base. I met Letty back in 2016, but I did not read her books until this year, and this woman, I love Letty Harper and her writing and how she likes to write things. I kind of kick myself that I didn't pick up her books after I met her, like, initially, but at the same time, she gets this award, so yes, I can't wait to dive into more Letty Harper, and I love her. I love her writing. I love it. It's heartfelt, it's real, it's gripping, it's different, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Alrighty, up to the top award for the day, and that is going to be Best Picture, and Best Picture is a standalone book. That means it's not a series. So although I loved the Grip series, it's a series and it doesn't qualify for this category. And this category actually has a tie for books that I love. These 2 standalone books just are on the same level for me, and I couldn't decide in between which one I loved more, and that is Dear Life by Megan Quinn and Red Lights, Black Hearts by Fabiola Francisco. Those 2 books made me think and opened my mind in a standalone, and I loved both of those books this year equally, and would recommend them to you guys for all sorts of different reasons. For Dear Life, it's life-changing, and it's going to make you think about your life and how to deal with things. For Red Lights, Black Hearts, it's going to make you think about how to overcome as well. So as you can see, it's a theme there, but I loved both of those books equally this year, and congratulations. Hope you guys don't mind sharing that title. So that is the 2017 Bookish Academy Awards. Congratulations to all of my favorites for all those different reasons. Have you read any of those books that I just listed? Are you going to go out and read any of those books that I listed for those reasons? Let me know down in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. I started a blog and a Goodreads group, so go check that out as well. Thank you for watching.